Okay, Tidy, I wanted to show you where we've been living for the past 10, almost 11 months. And they are called the Lamplighter Apartments. Ha! And here they are, only we're in the ones all the way at the end. This is what he has up on his website, but as you can see, he really modifies the picture. Anyway, finally, last week, after 5 months of me calling and calling and calling, we got this. Notice of abatement for unsafe conditions. It took me working my butt off to get the county to do it. See? Look at all this. He was charging $700 a month. This member of the church. These things are 600 square feet. They aren't even finished, and by law, he isn't even supposed to be renting them yet. This abomination apparently is where he stores stuff. He doesn't even have a lock for it, just that door leaning up against it. See? And he has this weird rigging of weights to pull it open. I mean, the guy, at first I thought he was just a criminal, but now I think he's criminally negligent. I think he has no clue what he's doing, but he's too prideful to say otherwise. This is the building where Ron and Mike lived. The county knocked that one down for being so unsafe and horrible, and he wouldn't do it. Looks like somebody got the abatement papers off. I don't know if they blew off or what. But this is Ron's apartment, and oh, sorry, I accidentally turned off the volume. And I'm going to hurry and get out and show you the holes in the floor. And you need to bear in mind, this is the third time. Look at that. Took me 9 months of fighting just to get a dumpster, which by law he has to have. And he had this giant truck that I'll show you pictures and video of when you get home, where he put it all. But anyway, see the holes in the floor? Yeah, Ron fell through that. Bill Hinkle fell through the one by the sink. And it was the third time he'd fallen through. You know what happens when your leg goes through rotted wood? Well, it traps it when you try to pull it out. So that's what Ron went through. The fire department had to come and get him out. Somebody's been up here forcing it open and getting into the house, probably David Plate, because he kicked that door open before. Whoa, and it looks like someone was up here recently with truck tires, but I'm not sure who. They went both ways. Huh. That happens a lot up here. I don't know. That building right there, he was supposed to knock down a year ago. He had to settle out of court with the woman that was living in these abominations because her water heater blew up after months of his workers working on it. And they were so incompetent that the outdoor fuse box, when they were wiring it, they started it on fire. And PUD had to come and fix it, and they put a lock on it and told him not to ever let his workers touch it again. He ended up having to settle with her for thousands. Did he learn from that? No. Here's where we live. Not in the first apartment, but the second one, on the other side of all the weeds. And I'll go ahead and show you this abomination. And there was a Mexican family, members of the church, go to the Spanish-speaking ward. There were 12 of them living in this 600-square-foot apartment. A newborn who was constantly getting sick because there's mold and fungus everywhere. In fact, it lists it here on the abatement under the unsafe conditions, blah, 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 that one of the unsafe conditions is the mold, the fungus in here, that this is a dangerous building. See? Dave Nelson. Took me forever to get him to do anything. And here it is. deterioration of the flooring, leaking sewage, electrical deficiencies. The flooring has deteriorated to the point that it is unsafe, and people have already partially fallen through the floor. Blah, blah, blah. And we have to be out of here in a couple of more days. And I mean, it has looked like this since we moved in, since Preston Wilkes handed us over to this predator when I had had surgery and couldn't even walk on December 2nd of 2008. And by February or March, there were no workers here anymore. Nobody ever showed up. The place inside is abominable. There is absolutely no indoor or outdoor storage. We have one cupboard in the kitchen, and that's it. I mean, I don't know about you, that's just not possible. Our fridge has not been working since May, and we've been promised multiple times it would be fixed. The heater went out back in March, and we have not had heat since March, which we still needed it up till May, and we definitely need it now because it was absolutely freezing this morning. For the past month, we've needed the heat on a regular basis. About a month ago, this thing blew and there was water squirting everywhere. This guy, I mean, he really has no idea what he's doing, just none. So it's obvious to us this should have happened a long time ago. But apparently they won't do squat. They were supposed to abate it back in July. When they did this stop work notice on July 14th, they were supposed to come by 2 days later and abate Ron's building, where he'd already fallen through the floor twice. As you can see, signed by Dave Nelson last Friday. But he conned his way out of it. David Plate did. And that's back. I have him on tape doing that when he was telling me he had to make me happy, but not willing to explain where he'd been since March, which by then it had been 4 months. So this is our mission, Tidy, that we've been on, and there's way more to tell, but it's just really horrific and horrendous. And no, Hannah, you leave that on your foot. And but yeah, as you can see, there have been trucks up here. I'm assuming it's PUD trucks or something, because they're getting ready to work over there. But woo, there have been two. See that from the tracks. And looks like they've been pretty recent too, because I just drove over them. So, Ty, that's our mission, stopping a slumlord who's a member of the church. And now people who don't know any better think that this is what the LDS church is all about. Anything for a buck. And if all I've been able to do is stop that thought, well then, son, I've succeeded. So I wanted you to know on this October 28th, at least he won't be able to do this to anyone else. I hope that's enough.